Welcome back to Less Kevin, More Tech with UTEC IT. I'm Kevin. This is
I'm
Les.
Les Harris.
And we're back for episode number 2, right? We haven't been banned, so FCC's not on to us yet. We're street legal, aren't we?
Things are happening.
Things are happening.
We're the talk of the town.
Yeah. Well, who do we got today?
Oh, I'm going to ask you about our special guest today is Aaron Gurgul. And Aaron is our CIO, Director of IT. And, you guys have known each other a long time, right?
Right.
And you got a dynamic relationship. Help me and help our audience understand how you guys met, because the story's wonderful. I know the story, but I think they should know it.
Well, despite popular opinion, we didn't find him in an esport gaming basement or something like that. But Aaron was one of our IT guys at a partner. We had office equipment down there at a school system, and down in Monroe, there's always Monroe County. There's challenges with making sure that you always backfill your bench. You get a bunch of young guys, and there's not a lot of upward movement, so there's turnover. And again, we were struggling a little bit trying to get the right solution offering that we wanted for our IT side. And so John Krimmel, the superintendent, and I got together. We said, hey, look, we've got a common problem. Let's try to fix this thing together. And out of that, the idea was born that we would hire his tech team, which was a big leap of faith for John to go to the school board and say, hey, look, we're going to subcontract these guys out, and they're going to be part of the UTEC team now. But we were able to do that, launch our IT the way we wanted to, and then come back and give him a bigger, wider, deeper bench. And with that, we got this great dude right down the street from us here, Mr. Aaron Gurgul.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm curious of your side of the story.
Yeah, so it was an
He was blindfolded, thrown in the back of a van, and
it was an interesting concept, right? I had only been at the district a few months when Kevin brokered this deal, and for me as a young IT professional, it kind of made sense, right? And I wanted a career path that was going to lead to growth, and through the UTEC umbrella, that was the path.
So, Aaron, back up a sec. So you said you had been there only for a few months.
Yep.
Yeah, what were you doing?
I started out as a desktop technician there.
And what is that?
So just an everyday tech, right? Going in and out of classrooms, helping teachers with their issues, helping students with their issues, general maintenance of equipment. I've touched everything from an iPod all the way up to a, $20,000 audio system, and everything in between.
So
when he says that, he's touched it, broke it, and then fixed it, right?
Broke it, then fixed it.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, you're a young guy, few months on the job. Now you hear this story, privatization, so to speak.
So for me, it wasn't that scary, just because I was the guinea pig of privatizing the department for the district, right? And prior to Kevin having the conversation with John, I was hired through the staffing agency for the substitute teachers, right? Mm-hmm. So no benefits, no real future.
Yeah.
And with UTEC, there was the opportunity for future, right? Kevin was trying to grow an IT business. It was myself and 2 other guys. We took that leap of faith under the UTEC umbrella, and I think we've grown a pretty decent-sized business.
That's awesome.
I think it's a testament to our partnership and our strength of our relationship with Airport Schools, right? John Krimmel had to go to the board and say, hey, we're getting rid of our IT department. These guys had to trust us. We had to make sure that we delivered on our promises, and I think it's been a great relationship. It's allowed us to grow. We've started some mentoring programs down there with some young kids. We'll do this on another show, but I thought it was really a win-win, and we like those kind of solutions, those kind of partnerships.
What I like about it is you started with the client first, right? Mm-hmm. They had an issue, and you had a solution, and you also had an issue. Right? And so it solved. So it was a win-win-win.
Win-win-win-win.
All the way around.
So, Aaron, just tell us a little bit about you personally. Let's get to know you personally.
So I've got 2 young kids at home, married for, what are we at?
Happily married. You always say happily married.
Better get this one right, too.
So, we got 2 kids at home. We got 2 dogs at home. Love to travel. We just picked up a big 36-foot RV earlier this year, and we've done everything we can to use that bad boy every weekend. So
that's awesome.
Good. Philosophy on servicing the customer.
So servicing the customer, for me, it used to be just try to do what we were doing at the schools, right? Give them a system in which was always readily available. They can access their data when they need to access it, and provide that environment that was always available, right? I ended up dealing with somewhat of a cyber incident, so to speak, while managing that district. And I ended up chasing my tail for about 8 to 10 weeks. And we, from really that point on, I became very passionate about the cyber piece of technology. And so, us as a business, my own personal philosophy, if you're doing technology, you need to be cyber focused on it, because it's the day and age in which we live in now. It's just so different than what it was 5 years ago.
Right. Hey, so you used the word passion, right? And I get to see you day to day, and I know what that means for you. But if you were, communicating out to other parts of our company or our clients, how do you personally demonstrate that?
So, for me, the passion of cyber is, I would say it's something that needs to be top of mind for everybody, right? Every aspect of our life is now digitized, right? There's not one person that you're going to see walking down the street without an Apple Watch on their wrist, an iPhone in their pocket, an Android phone in their pocket. You're not going to walk into a home nowadays and not see an Amazon Echo sitting on a table somewhere or a Google Home. We are all hyper connected in some way, shape, and fashion. And my view on it is it's the perfect playground, right? It's the perfect playground for the cyber criminals out there. And a lot of these great devices I just talked about, right? They're designed for the consumer to be able to pull out of a box, plug it into the wall, connect it to the Wi-Fi, via a mobile app, and it's up and running. For me, looking at it from an IT professional's standpoint, that tells me those devices aren't really thought about as far as security is concerned, right? And with that being said, you're opening your world up. You're opening your homes up. You're opening your businesses up for a potential world of hurt.
So we have a lot of employees, because you also manage our internal.
Correct.
Right. Yep. So we have a lot of employees that work at home and in the office, hybrid environment, so to speak. And so you see that, what are your thoughts for us as a business and for our clients as well in that environment?
So, COVID pushed us to this work from home model, right? It's always been something that was kind of, I think, in every business's back of their mind of whether or not, is this a true model? Can our employees be effective? So on and so forth. And COVID really was the proof of concept that everybody needed. We didn't have a choice. We had to send people home. We had to continue to operate as businesses. And the fact of the matter is we were able to make it happen, right? As a society as a whole. The security aspect of it, though, right? That's the tricky piece.
Yeah.
Because not only did you have parents at home, right? You had the kids at home, right? Kids couldn't go to school. You've got kids at home maybe working on the homework that they're supposed to be working on, right? Chances are they're playing some Xbox. Chances are playing PlayStation, streaming Netflix, YouTube, whatever, right? And this is all being done on a home network that generally doesn't have security in place, right? So, for businesses to make sure that their employees stay effective and stay secure and protecting the environment, VPNs should definitely be set up, right? If you're using corporate-owned devices on a home network and you're connecting and interacting with corporate data, a VPN's got to be in place. No questions asked, right?
Yeah.
You mean Comcast and Verizon are protecting me with that router and all my neighbors up and down the street?
So they're doing some level of protection, but it's very, very basic, right? So in a perfect world, right, we would deploy a firewall at your house. Financially, it's not 100% feasible. Now, there are other solutions out there that are hitting the market now to be able to secure that home office, and that's something that we're exploring right now internally.
Good. So
Yeah, I was going to say that we just talked about the protection, cybersecurity part for the home office, but we were able to make the pivot. You were able to make the pivot with our team very quickly and very easily because education is a big part of your thing, training. I mean, I want to talk about that real quickly. I was very impressed when Aaron took over the leadership. We had the team there. The time he spends working with the people, but the push, first thing he did, I thought he's going to be banging on my door. We need new laptops or we need new, bigger screens. And he did all that in due time. But he said, we need training for our people. I need school for our people. We need to continually be training these guys and have a program where they can go out and get their certs, continue to learn stuff. But Aaron came to us and said, look, we need to understand Microsoft Teams. We need to start working with that right away. This is what's coming. It's integrated now in our Sharp Aquas board, but he was quick to the forefront with, we understand this. And just talk about that, Aaron, how you're able to pivot so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we've been using Office 365 for years, right? But we were only scratching the surface as to what the actual capabilities were. So, again, COVID really just it forced you to learn the technology quick. It forced us to put together some training, some documentation to get out to staff to keep the business moving. I think we've done a really good job through the thick of the mess, right? And we've had some good growth through it. So
just to piggyback off that question, one of the things I've seen is you do IDPs, individual development plans, with the people on your team.
Yeah.
So what drives that? That's not, unless it's pushed down, it's not a common practice.
Yeah. So my philosophy with work in general, right, is what we do on a daily basis is 80% of our life, right? And if at the end of the day you don't feel fulfilled in what you're doing, you don't feel like you've done a good enough job, you don't feel like you can put your name on what you've done for the day, then why are you doing it, right? So I've sat down with every one of our team members and had this conversation with them. I want them to actually stop and think. I want them to do that introspection. I want them to do that self-audit. And I want to make sure I'm putting the right people in the right seats, right? It's very important to me. I think it should be very important for everybody.
Well, and it's tricky, right? Because Aaron spent a lot of time investing energy, effort, coaching, counseling into these people. And there's been, they're young guys, right? Young gals, young folks. And there's an eagerness there. And there's always going to be some churn, right, in a company and turnover. But he's helped a lot of people. We would get them up to speed, and there's some opportunities, and he's helped them go on to do other things and with other organizations, and been a great mentor that way. You don't want to you can't just keep people down, but he's been a big believer in making sure that we continue to build guys up so that there's opportunities for them to grow, and he's not afraid to lose a person because he knows he's got a deep bench with good people coming right behind that. So. You always hate to lose people, right? We're not saying here, hey, we're just going to train you so you can go off and do something else because we want to keep those people and we want to harvest that talent. But from our whole service team, I think he's done a wonderful job getting them better, and then also working with people to give them a launching pad that they can go and grow with too, right?
Yeah. So I think that's evident in the results. So, we were talking a couple of days ago about, the emails that get sent to our clients and the feedback. Can you share some of those results?
Yeah, so our lead technician, he shared with me on Friday last week that he actually passed I think it was the 500 mark on survey responses, and his average survey score is 4.8 stars.
Yeah. So I think that's incredible because a lot of times folks won't answer a survey unless they have a complaint.
Sure.
And so to see that many, right, surveys to be filled out and to get that kind of positive feedback, I think it's reflective not only of their talent, but the leadership that you've provided in the direction.
Yeah, make sure we don't mention Timmy's name so he doesn't get stolen.
No, Tim. Yeah.
He'll have a big head. We won't be able to work with him at the help desk.
Right. Have to start setting appointments to meet with him.
Yeah, so Tim is he's a great tech. He is a very dedicated individual, and customers love him, and he does a heck of a job.
Right. So we've got that first point of contact, and I think a lot of it, the success of your group, this is my opinion. So you can, disagree, but I believe a lot of that success of that group is that the first communication that they have with us is directly with a human on our desk. So can you just walk me through that?
Yeah, so
because it isn't that common. There's a lot of times people are getting on help desk and they got to push buttons and they end up in another part of the globe.
So we still like the personal approach, right? You deal with a lot of companies nowadays, and you're hitting their website and you're dealing with a bot on the website where you got to interact with the computer for 10 minutes before that bot actually transfers you over to a person, right? And then you got to start all over again, right? Because nobody, generally speaking, my experience has been you talk to the bot for 10 minutes, right? You tell them the problem, it's supposed to put you in the right queue on the back end, and then you end up telling that person on the back end everything that you just told the bot for 10 minutes, right? Frustrating.
Yep, I've experienced it.
The other piece too, right, is if you're not interacting with a bot on a website, you're picking up the phone, you're getting an auto attendant. And in a situation in which you got a system down or, you're inconvenienced because you can't do a certain task, right? You want to be able to pick up the phone and you want to be able to talk to a person, right? You don't want to deal with press 1 for so-and-so, press 2 for so-and-so, and a lot of companies that I've had to deal with that, right? The trick is usually you hit the 0 button, right, to get the operator.
Right.
A lot of people are reprogramming those things, right? 0 just takes you right back to the top of the loop.
0 means 0 chance of getting help. So they're just giving you a heads up right off the bat. But it's funny because I've always admired Aaron and his team that when you're calling the help desk, you're never calling because things are working right. You're calling because it's a problem. It's like when you call 911. It's never a good call. There's something going on there, and usually our customers, our support, it's the second, third, fourth time they've tried to fix their own problem, and now they're really frustrated, and they're calling you. They want you just to have their stuff working now. Why isn't it working? And Aaron and his team are able to, I'd say 99% of the time, right? Just quickly diffuse that. Hey, we got you. No problem. It's under control. We're going to take care of you, and we're going to walk you through this. We'll get it working. And I think it's that approach that allows a lot of their success, that they're calm, that they don't get emotional. They settle them down, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's a great description of what we do at that desk. Diffusing somebody that is irate, it's not an easy task, right? And we do have the talent there that has those soft skills to talk that person off the ledge, make them feel a little bit better, and then start working on the problem.
Unless it's Joe Green and Turlin, we just tell them to jump. We're not doing this for the 19th time this hour.
Fair enough.
Oh, he's going to like that one.
Yes, he is.
So what are your, where do you see this world heading, with your department and our clients? Because you interface personally a lot with our client base.
Yeah, so, moving forward, I definitely want to make sure that we're doing right by the customer, right? From both a service delivery standpoint, from a cyber protection standpoint, and just a business relationship in general. A lot of these folks are bringing us on board because they don't have internal IT resources, right? They don't have internal IT budgets. They don't know that, they should have a hardware refresh every 36 to 48 months on, computing hardware. They don't know that it should be every 60 to 96 months for server hardware,
And because they don't know it, they don't budget. It's not. It's always a surprise.
They don't know, they don't know that they've got options, right? They don't know that they have options to not buy a piece of hardware for their server, right? They've got options to go to Azure. They got options to go to AWS. They got options to just use Office 365 or G Suite, right? But they don't know it. The everyday person doesn't know that, right? So that's where we want to be. We want to be that partner. We want to be able to sit down with our customers and help develop that long-term plan for their business. We want them to look at IT as not a cost center for the business, as a strategic advantage to the business, right? And how can we work together to make that marriage happen?
Right.
That's what I love about the conversations that you have is that we're taking the mystery out of it, right? We're taking the surprises out of IT, hence managed IT, right? Managed service provider. So you sit down and you plan out with them and you map out a strategy. And I think sometimes customers, the comments I've heard back is that, I was relieved. I didn't think I had to come in and buy a bunch of stuff right away. That you're just going to sell me equipment. No, we're going to try to work with what you have, but we're going to map out a plan that makes sense for you. We don't want you to spend money just for the sake of spending money, right? We want to build out a plan. Let's attack it. And if you've got stuff that's working, we'll try to incorporate that into our, obviously his team's got a tech stack that they want to work from in a basis that they try to standardize to, but we're not going to put guns to people's heads and say you got to buy new stuff right away. But we're also not going to sit back and be passive where we're just going to let you use stuff that's causing more problems and breaking down. And, you've had to have some tough conversations with people too, right? Like, this is important to me. I'm going to ask you to do things you want to do at home. But if you're not going to do it, then we need to find a different partner, right?
Yeah, and sometimes the hand gets forced. So we've had situations in which the business relationship just doesn't work out, right? And we've had to have those tough conversations with those customers and make the recommendation that maybe we aren't the right fit for you.
But we help them transition through that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't just cut them off.
Well, right. No, you never want to burn a bridge, right? And we are firm believers in that. Even though we've had customers in which we've had to terminate relationships with, we've done everything that we could in that last 30 to 60 days with them to make sure that our service levels didn't drop with you, right? We gave you our all-in from the day you signed that agreement to the day the agreement ended, to what you allowed us to do, right?
Yeah.
We made recommendations. They fell on deaf ears. And, unfortunately, the nature of the business that we do and the data that we protect, right, there's huge liability on us if we can't have a serious business partnership, right? So we want to make sure, again, we're protecting us, we're protecting you, and most of all, we're protecting your customers, right? We all do business with, we're not doing business between each other, right? You're doing business with somebody that's paying you, you're bringing in revenue that way. At the end of the day, that data, right, you're the owner of that data.
Yeah, right.
We're just stewards of your data. We make recommendations on how to keep it safe. We do everything in our power to keep it safe. And we want the relationship to be one of those in which everybody's on the same page and everybody wants to do right.
Well, I loved how he explained it to the customer the other day. He said, look, you're going to spend this money. You're going to spend X amount of money on this cyber thing. You can work with us, and we can work with you, and we can plan that out. We can budget, and we can manage it, so you know exactly when you're going to spend it. Or you can wait, and somebody's going to tap you on your shoulder and say, okay, today you're writing a big check to a ransomware company, party over in some place. Oh, here's a big check you're going to write to the forensic team. Here's a big check you're going to write, and all this stuff. And there's a good chance your insurance company may or may not cover you. So I think that kind of hit home for some people, right? You're there to plan, budget, map out a vision for them. Right. And either they ride along with us or they don't.
Yeah, it's a technology roadmap. Mm-hmm. So, and part of that, earlier you were talking about our clients or seeking out clients that view IT as a strategic asset as opposed to a cost center.
Yeah.
And the dialogue the path you're going down right now is that very discussion, right? And so if our clients who have to take care of their clients' information, if they're not willing to have that business, that strategic discussion about how to manage or stewards of the data as you spoke, that's where you find yourself in those situations of having the hard discussion.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough discussion. Nobody wants to have it, right?
But it's real.
I'd rather have the discussion where I come to you with a bunch of recommendations, right? And I can explain it to you as to why we're making these recommendations, and we move forward with an agreement to do what was recommended, rather than having the discussion of saying the relationship isn't working out, and I'm upset for you and I'm upset for your customers as to what you're doing, to what risk you're potentially putting your business in, right? But I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah. All right, so let's go down the path of the organizations that want to partner, and you develop this roadmap, the technology roadmap. What are some of the tools that you use with your team to ensure that, in fact, that roadmap?
Yeah, so the one of the most important pieces of the business engagement is the onboarding, right? And to have a successful onboarding, you got to have a successful discovery process during the sales process. So for all of our customers, before we even start an engagement, the first thing we do is we come out and do an assessment of your systems, right? So we run some tools on your network. It gives us a behind the scenes look of what's going on technically. We sit down with the customer. We ask a bunch of questions, right? See what they know, what they don't know. And we look at all that data and we paint a picture of where they stand today. Where's your baseline? That's what we're looking for, right? We come back, we present on that baseline, and we say, here's where you're at today. With our solutions, we can get you from this baseline to this baseline, right? This is where you want to be, right? This is where we want you to be. In a perfect world, 100% tech stack adoption is what we want, right? It does many things for you as the business. First of all, it keeps your employees productive, right? For us supporting you, it makes our lives a lot easier, right? If we can get you on a standardized platform that we're using across our entire customer base, how could it not be an easy support from there on out, right? We know what systems you have, we know what software you're using, so on and so forth. And we want those engagements to be successful. So that's why we put all the front end work into it.
So I've seen your process map, and I've watched you go through every step of it's very consistent. Now, this is a wild card. If you had to guess, how many steps are in that process map?
We're somewhere around 25 to 30.
Yeah, 25 to 30 steps. They're all dialogued. It's communicated up front. It's it's bi-directional communication with the client.
Yeah, our onboarding process is about a 5-week process.
Yeah.
From a sales kickoff after the deal's been inked, all the way through the go live, right? So, we've got your kickoff week, we've got your the initial assessment week where we're coming in, we're running additional tools, we're making documentation, we start deploying our tools, we start deploying our systems, we start doing some QC after that, making sure that everything is talking the way it needs to be talking, and then it's your go live.
Yeah. So after go live, how do you keep everybody in the roadmap?
So after go live, right, we schedule QBRs with everyone, and we make sure that we're meeting with you guys quarterly. We want to talk about business objectives. We want to talk about how us as your technology provider can help you meet those objectives. Whether that's you want to roll out a new CRM, or you want to roll out a new server, you want to roll out new computing devices, you want to roll out a VPN so that you can have a work from home model. You name it, we want to have that conversation.
Right. Looking for ways, how can we help improve your client's service? How can we use technology to improve your experience with your clients.
Yep.
Those are the kind of things that get talked about in the QBR.
Yep.
And then we just map the technology.
And then we try to sell them a bunch of laptops, right?
Hey, if they need it. If it's needed.
And voice, right? VoIP.
So, hey, we're coming up on our end here.
We got to stop this?
Well, actually, we don't. Who should we ask?
Let's ask Bazooka. Bazooka, what's the flavor here? We're still looking for our bourbon sponsor here, but what's the flavor you picked for us today?
Well, I got to say, I enjoy a good glass of Blanton's. So that'd be one of my choices.
I think everybody enjoys a nice glass of Blanton's, huh?
So we should call them?
We should call them maybe, right? Or somebody should call them for us.
Right,
perhaps.
right.
Somebody works there. So, hey, Aaron, thank you for coming out. We appreciate your insight. More importantly, I appreciate your dedication, your passion, and your commitment to making UTEC the best we can be, and then also servicing our customers. When you talked about passion, I know that I often get a call from him on the weekend, and I say, I was just out at such and such place because something went down, or tonight I was on the phone till 10 o'clock at night because one of our customers, their wife's home thing shot, and she needed help on her laptop, and he was able to get her back up for presentation the next day. And, these are devices we're not even supporting, but not that we're encouraging customers to call you, right? We appreciate
Right.
what you do for us.
Yeah, anytime.
I appreciate you as a partner. I mean, internally we work real tight, and I appreciate that your perspective and your philosophies and the direction that you're taking our clients.
I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah.
There's a lot of appreciation here. So with that, we'll appreciate you listening to us, and maybe get us next time. Thank you.